Today we're going to focus on our relationship with Tempo Technologies and asset tracking in the automotive industry with respect to packaging. My name's Jeremy and I'm with Green Processing Company. I'm going to speak for a few minutes and then I'm going to hand it over to Gabe at Tempo Technologies to tell you more about the asset tracking software and hardware that he offers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now and just run through a few different items with you. I believe most of you on this call are very familiar with Green Processing Company, but just like to tell you a little bit about what we do and then that relationship with Tempo Technologies and why we're becoming involved in asset tracking. Green Processing Company is known for new and used packaging, both interior and exterior dunnage of all kinds. We specialize in refurbished plastic knockdown bins and also new and used metal packaging. Right here, you'll see some examples of some packaging that's the focus of Green Processing Company. And we have one of the largest inventories in stock in all of North America, with around 30,000 plastic collapsible bins in stock. And then you'll see 10,000 plastic totes, 3,000 metal containers. We offer short and long-term leases for all of our packaging. So anything we sell is also available for lease. And I specifically want to highlight the leasing that we do because that's a very important aspect of the tracking technology that Tempo offers. We lease thousands, actually tens of thousands of containers throughout North America. And as many of you know, when you're the customer, you're ultimately responsible for that leased packaging to be returned to Green Processing Company when the lease is over. Many times those containers, because they look generic, just like other containers you might use throughout your plant, they become lost and or misplaced or misshipped. And the RFID tracking allows you, the customer, to locate the leased assets in your facility and make sure those are returned to Green Processing Company to avoid any charges associated with lost assets. I mentioned to you that sometimes those containers are meant for a bank build, for instance, but instead they're shipped off somewhere because they look generic. If you have tracking technology and dock door readers, when those assets are shipped through the dock door readers, you'll actually get a notification that the asset belongs to Green Processing Company or to whomever that asset is owned by. That would allow you to then call back the truck and unload the leased assets to make sure you don't ship them to the wrong destination. Green Processing's role with respect to this partnership will be printing asset tags and tagging and uploading those assets onto the platform. So on the next two slides, you'll see examples of asset tags that we offer as well as our pricing. We own the asset tag printing software and hardware. So the tags will actually be printed at our facility and mailed to you, the customer. We're also offering to tag and upload your assets, and all of that would be done at Green Processing Company, either before containers are sold to you, leased to you, and we can also offer that during the repair process. Here is a list of all of the pricing that we offer, and I can send this out to all of the participants after, but we're offering to print and ship tags. Those are the first two line items that you see. We're offering to print and install the tags on your assets. And then lastly, which is the full service, would be printed, installed, and uploading those assets onto the platform. Really quick, if you're not familiar with our locations, these are the locations that can provide the services that I just mentioned: Windsor, Laredo, Texas, Cleveland, Ohio, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Quick picture here of just some of the assets that we own. So if you're looking for any lease containers or used or new refurbished knockdown bins, it's just an example of some of the stock that we have. What I'm going to do now is hand things over to Gabe, and he can tell you more about the hardware and software and the actual tracking.
Great. Thank you, Jeremy. My name is Gabriel Gunsberg from Tempo Technologies, and we specialize in complete inventory and asset management solutions with a focus on RFID technologies. In 2020, we were asked to serve as an industry expert on a panel that was organized by AIAG and Magna to help establish RFID standards for the auto industry going forward. In addition to our Trace enterprise software and hardware, some of which I'll be demoing today, we offer a full suite of low-cost, high-performance RFID tags, which are designed to meet the specifications of the AIAG standards that we actually help to create. And as you just saw in Jeremy's presentation, this is an example of a 2-inch by 2-inch flexible sticker style RFID tag that is designed, printed, and encoded to meet those standards. So I'll be doing a live Trace system demo today, and I'll be using these tags, a number of these tags for the demo. And here we have our proprietary track tablet. So this is a rugged industrial touchscreen tablet that has the longest RFID read range on the market, as well as integrated barcode scanner and full touchscreen tablet and smartphone features. So now I'm going to share my screen to demo some of the features of the Trace system, including some features that actually streamline interactions between you and your service providers, such as green processing. Right, so this is our Trace system. So here we have our browser-based web application, which we call it the web app. And here we have our native Android mobile application. So we have two accounts here for the demo today. We have a Magna Powertrain demo account. These are just demo accounts. And we have a green processing demo account. And here we have a Magna Powertrain track tablet, as well as a green processing track tablet. So here we have a dashboard that shows you all of your inventory, the counts and locations for your inventory. These are very small numbers just for the demo, but the Trace system is designed to handle many millions of assets. And that includes containers, racks, pallets, and other types of returnable packaging. So we've broken up, in Trace, we've broken up assets into 4 different categories. So we have my on-site assets, which are assets that I own that are located in my facilities. We have my off-site assets, which are assets that I own that are located in other companies' facilities. We have my in-transit assets, which are assets that are in transit between facilities, so they've shipped, but they've not yet reached their destination. And we have other on-site assets, which are other companies' assets that are physically located at my facilities. So you can click on any individual asset container to see the details about that container, including the asset type, with details from the owner about that specific container. And this will actually has a link there that can take you to the owner's webpage. So for example, to the green processing site there with more information. So that can be created that way. And you can even click on, so here we have all the rest of the details, including every action that has ever been taken on this asset. So Trace records every action that's taken on each individual asset, so you can review those over time historically. And you can even click on a link here to view the last known GPS location of each individual asset. So there's some unique GPS related features here. And that even shows you a satellite view of that location. So very detailed information about that. So I'll get into more about that in a second. And so now what I'm going to do is, let's say we need to locate a specific container. So I can actually take up my Magna Powertrain track tablet here, and I can actually search for this specific container to pull up the details. So here you can see we've got the same specific container with all the same details there, and all of the same history, all of the same asset history logs, so visible from both platforms. And again, I can see the details about that. So if I go to look for it, I know what I'm looking for visually. But the goal here is we want to locate a specific container using RFID as well as GPS. So I'm going to tap the RFID button in the lower right corner. And if you have any issues seeing any of this, please speak up and let me know. But so this is our what we call our GPX feature. So this combines the power of GPS and RFID into a single feature. So the red pin there is, as we saw on the web app, the last known GPS location of that container. And the blue dot is my current location in real time. So this is a real-time dynamic interactive satellite map. And so I can use that red line to orient myself to the location of that container. And for example, in a storage yard or outside of a building, especially it's very useful inside of a building. It will generally show you the area in the building where it's located. So you can use that red line and follow it straight to that specific asset. And then when you come within RFID read range, and I'm inside of a pretty dense building here, so it's moving around a little bit, but when you come within RFID read range of the container, you can actually turn on the RFID reader right from the same screen to really hone in on that specific container and use the tablet as a homing device to lead you to the rest of the way to that container. So now what I'm going to do is tap the RFID button, which turns on the RFID reader, and you can hear the beep. So that indicates that I'm actively reading the RFID tag, reading the signal of that specific tag on that container. So the yellow bar indicates my proximity and direction, or an angle relative to that container. So as I get closer, the beeping gets faster, and the yellow bar fills out until I'm right on top of it. And as I get further away, the yellow bar goes down and the beeping gets slower. And then if I turn away from the asset, or let's say go past it as I'm walking around completely, I'll lose the signal and I turn back towards it. And it'll lead me to that container until I'm right on top of it. And then because lots of containers look the same, let's say you have 1,000 flat containers that are collapsible that all look the same, you want to make sure you're locating that one specific container and not the one above it or below it or next to it. So you can actually use the barcode scanner to scan the barcode on the tag to make sure that you have the correct container. So if I scan the wrong container, it plays an error sound. It says incorrect tag ID, please try again. And then when I scan the correct container, it says item confirmed, and shows me that I've located the correct container. So now so that's locating a single asset. So now what I want to do is I want to ship containers. I want to ship a shipment of containers from Magna Powertrain to Green Processing. So what I'm going to do is take the same tablet here, and I'm going to tap the ship button, and we're going to create a new shipment. So we can enter, let's say, shipment ID 310, and this can be the ASN or whatever you might use to identify a shipment. And you can indicate whether it's a full truckload or a partial truckload with a single tap there. This is a partial truckload with 56 assets, shipping to Green Processing Company, Windsor facility from Magna Powertrain, Muncie, shipping from shipping dock 1, and you can enter the carrier as well. So here we'll enter UPS, and you can enter the trailer number. So now we've created our shipment details, and we're ready to scan the assets to add them to the shipment. So I just want to clarify that this is being done on the track tablet, but we can also automate shipments using fixed RFID readers or dock door RFID readers. So we can actually go in and install the RFID readers in your dock doors to automate movement in and out, the movement of containers in and out of your facilities and between facilities without the need for a track tablet. But track tablet has some additional features that allow you to get a little more detailed for shipment management. So now what we're going to do is we can see that there are 56 expected and none have been scanned yet. So we can actually control the power level of the RFID reader. Our software gives you, and hardware, track tablet give you very fine control of the RFID reader power level. So let's say you're scanning a shipment at dock door 1, and you want to make sure that you're only scanning the containers that are in that shipment at dock door 1 and not the containers that are in dock door 2, 15 feet away or up against the wall, for example. So you can set the power level to 2 to make sure you only have, a 6-inch or 1 foot or 2 feet, whatever that read range might be that you want to make sure that you are scanning the correct assets at all times. So we've got the power level set to 2. And now we're going to scan a bunch of containers to add them to the shipment. So I tap the RFID button, which activates the RFID reader on the tablet. And within a few seconds, we've got 47 containers that have been scanned, including 3 that are incorrect. So if we scroll down here, we can see all the details for all of those containers that have been scanned, including 3 Ford containers. So the goal here with shipments is that a correct shipment should only include containers that are owned by either the shipper or the receiver. Any assets that are owned by a third party should not be included ideally in a shipment. And so the industry is moving in that direction. And so ultimately companies will be responsible for making sure that they're only shipping the correct containers to prevent loss for everyone and confusion. So here you can see that we have 3 incorrect containers, and I can actually tap on that incorrect count box, the yellow box, and this pulls up what we call an RFID search list. So this is a feature that is unique to our system that allows you to search for multiple assets simultaneously. So here we have a list of the 3 Ford containers, and if I turn on the RFID reader, the track tablet will search for all 3 simultaneously. So the fastest way and most efficient way to locate things is to locate the closest one first as you're moving around. So the closest one to you, and then the next closest, and the next closest. And so what this does is it allows you to do that. So if I turn on the RFID reader here, you can see that I'm scanning all 3 of these containers simultaneously. This is the real-time RFID signal of each of those individual containers. And so as I get closer to one, the closest one always displays at the top. So if I get closer to one, you can see that the yellow bar goes up. And if I get further away from others, those signals go down or I lose them completely. And then as I move towards other ones, you can see that another one will move to the top and the signal gets stronger there for other ones. And so real-time visibility into the location, the signal strength of each of those individual assets to help you very efficiently locate multiple things simultaneously. So then as you locate each of those specific containers, you can remove them from the shipment from using remove them from the search list, and then you can actually remove them from your actual shipment as well. But for the sake of the demo, we're going to leave those 3 incorrect containers in the shipment. We can see that the shipment is 9 short. So in reality, you should say, this is 9 short. We need to go find those other 9 containers to make sure that we have all 56 included. For the sake of the demo, we're going to just create the shipment, complete the shipment. So now that shipment is complete. So as the owner, you can now see that those containers are no longer on site. They're now in transit. So the status of those containers has updated in real time to in transit. Here we've got 10:50 a.m. timestamp on that for all of those containers. And we also have an outbound shipment for the owner. So now we go to our shipment screen, we can see the details here, created and shipped at 10:50 a.m. from Magna Powertrain Muncie to Green Processing Windsor facility. And we can click on the shipment to see all the details of the shipment. So we've got shipment ID, LTL, the created and shipped time, expected count 56, 47, actually shipped, and 3 of those were incorrect. So if we create the shipment, even before the truck leaves the dock door, you can see in real time, everyone who has access, permission to access this platform and the shipment can see that this shipment is 9 short and that 3 of those are incorrect. So you can take corrective action there on the fly, and we can see there who shipped it, which dock door it is shipped from, and the carrier information as well as all of the specific containers that are included in the shipment, including those 3 incorrect Ford containers. And then as the recipient, Green Processing can go to their inbound shipments, and they can see that this shipment is on their way to them as well, and they can see all of those same details. So they can see, even before the shipment has left your dock door, they can see that the shipment is 9 short and there are 3 that are incorrect. So real-time transparency and accuracy for both parties. So here they can see all of those containers as well. So now as we want to receive this container as Green Processing. So I'm going to take my Green Processing track tablet. I'm going to tap the receive button. And so now we see shipment ID 310 is waiting for us there to receive. So I can tap on that shipment and I can select the location that I want to receive it to. We've got receiving dock 1 saved from last time for efficiency, all the details of the shipment. And so we're going to save that. And now you can see the receive screen. So here we can see all those details in real-time dynamic screen. So we have 47 that were shipped, 56 expected. So we know that it's 9 short. None have been received yet. 3 of the containers that shipped were incorrect. And so if we want to pull out those 3 that were incorrect before we scan the rest of the containers, we can tap on that incorrect shipped 3 yellow box. And again, we have an RFID search list as the receiver there that's automatically generated. So we can locate those 3 and pull them out if we want to very quickly before we even scan the rest of the shipment. So now we have all of the assets here that are expected, and we're going to scan with RFID to receive. So I'm going to tap the RFID button. And within a few seconds, you can see we've got 41 out of 47 that have been received. So we can see that we're 6 short in our receipt. And so we need to find 6 that have not been received. So we need to locate those 6 and make sure that everything that shipped, all 47, are actually received. So again, I can tap on the blue not received 6 box. And again, we have another RFID search list that's automatically generated. And I can tap on the button to very quickly and efficiently locate those 6 to make sure that the shipment is complete. So now let's go back and we can scan those 6 into our shipment. And so now another thing, I'm going to scan a few more here. So now you can see that not only are those 6 received, but we also have 9 that are unexpected. So unexpected, if we can tap on the little glossary here, unexpected refers to the real-time count of assets you have scanned while receiving that were not scanned by the shipper. So if there are assets that made their way into a shipment but they weren't scanned as part of the shipment, or if you accidentally scan some containers, some other containers while receiving a shipment, those are highlighted and flagged in real time, so you can address those and see if those should be included in the shipment. So again, I can tap on that unexpected box, and we have another RFID search list that allows me to very, very quickly and efficiently locate those 9 unexpected assets among the shipment and confirm what they are and take action on those as needed. So now we've got all 47 that shipped are received. We've got 9 additional ones that are unexpected. We can see all of those here on the list, including the 9 that are unexpected. And if we discover that these unexpected ones shouldn't be included in the shipment, we can remove them before we complete the shipment. So now let's receive the shipment. And the shipment is complete. So now we can go to our shipments, back to our shipment screen. We can actually refresh the shipment screen here, and both parties can see in real time that the shipment is completed, including all of the details, all of the containers that were included in the shipment, 46 expected, 56 expected, 47 shipped, 56 received, including 9 that were unexpected, and 3 that were incorrect shipped, and 3 that were incorrect received. And then all of the specific containers that were included there. So very accurate traceability, real-time traceability for both parties. So another problem that we address here with Trace is that sometimes green processing or other service providers will receive containers either correctly in a shipment from you or incorrectly mixed in your containers mixed into shipments from other companies. And so before Trace, they would have no way to really to know what to do with those. There may be confusion about what to do with those. Or even in this case, it may not always be clear what should be done with those containers. So the workflow, the process up until now has been, Green would have to call you and say, we have your containers. Do you want us to repair them? Do you want us to recycle them? And there's a lot of time wasted there trying to figure out what should be done. So Trace allows you to actually tell Green Processing and other service providers what you want them to do with your containers directly in the platform. You can see when service providers receive your containers in real time without having to call or email. And you can tell them what you want them to do with those containers directly within Trace. So here we can see, if we go to our dashboard, we can actually see that we have 53 assets that require action at Green Windsor facility. And we go to our actions screen and we can click on the actions. And we can tell Green Processing that we want some of these to be repaired. We could select all if we wanted to, but for the sake of the demo, we're going to say we want a handful of them to be repaired. And we want a handful to be recycled. And then we want the rest to be returned. So we can just select all there and submit. So now we've taken action on those assets. We no longer have assets that require action, but Green Processing can now respond to those requests directly within Trace. And so So now green processing can say, okay, we've got these assets that require action. We're going to accept repair for the ones that with repair requested, and we're going to accept recycle for the recycle requests. But if they see, for example, that there are some containers that they think could be repaired instead of recycled, they could make changes on the fly here. But now we've accepted all, they've accepted all for recycled, and for return, they can accept that as well. We'll just accept all. And now we're going to submit. So now that it's very efficient communication between you and your service provider to see what, to tell them what should be done with your containers. And now green processing can actually repair those. And so I can take my green processing tablet and I can tap the repair button, select the location. So let's say they've got some containers that are in a repair location, and they can scan those containers. And then, so I'll scan some containers here. So we've got 10 containers that have been repaired, and we're going to save that. We can see which ones those are. And then green processing can, and then both parties now, because those have been repaired, we have real-time status updates. So you as the owner can go to your other on-site assets screen, and you can see that, to your offsite asset screen, and you can see that those containers are now repaired in real time. And so green processing can see the same thing on their other on-site assets screen. So real-time visibility into the location and status of the containers for both you as the owner and for the service provider. And this is true of any wherever it's located. So you can track your containers anywhere within the Trace ecosystem at any facility in the Trace ecosystem in real time. And whoever physically has your containers at their facility can also track and locate those containers, so they make sure they don't get lost and they can easily process them and locate them. So here we can see that these are repaired. So another problem that this addresses is, often companies will run into the issue where they need to send some containers to their suppliers to be filled with parts, or they need to locate containers full of parts to send for a sales order, or they need to pick parts for a production order. And it's difficult they have trouble locating them. They don't know where they are, or they discover that they're short containers and they don't have enough. So what companies do now, as many of you know, is they'll have to resort to single-use packaging, which is very expensive, and or they'll have to resort to emergency rental containers. So what this does is it allows you to see that green processing has 10 or 100 or 500 of your containers that are repaired or ready to be returned. So you can go onto Trace and say, hey, green processing Windsor facility has 500 of my containers and they're ready to be picked up. And now we can arrange to have them transported to your facility so you can avoid those single-use packaging costs and even rental costs. So now green processing can also recycle some containers. So I can go back to the recycle screen here, and in the same way, before those containers are destroyed, we can scan them at the recycle station. So we're here at grinder A, we can see these are about to be recycled, and we can update the status of those containers. So the benefit of this, if we update here, is that it allows you as the owner to see that, to have a record of your recycled containers. So both parties can see now that these are recycled, and so hey, I've got these containers. Instead of going to look for container number 101521, you can see right within Trace, this has been recycled. It no longer physically exists. Don't go look for it. And you can also use this for accounting and record keeping purposes to keep track of your recycled containers. So the next step here would be to ship containers back from green processing to the Magna Powertrain facility, but it's the same process as I just showed you before, just creating a shipment back to them. So those are the key features here that we have time for today. And now we'd like to take questions if there are any questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand, or you can also ask them in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
As well, if there's any follow-up questions after anything else you think of, if you don't have Gabe's information and you want to send myself or Jim O'Neill or Chad Sylvester an email from Green Processing Company, we can definitely forward it and put you in touch with Gabriel. There's a question here that says, I joined a little late. So maybe it was covered, but what infrastructure is needed at each facility?
So that's a very good question. So there are a number of different options, and our system is designed to be very flexible based on your operation and your budget and your timeline for scaling up the system. So as I mentioned, the workflows for shipping and receiving and updating locations of assets as they move in and out of, and even within facilities, can be completed using fixed RFID readers. So these are RFID readers that are installed in your dock doors, and they can also be installed in at other locations throughout your facilities to automatically update location. So that's the more expensive option. The less expensive option, either to get started to prove out the system or standing alone, for continuous use, or in combination with the fixed readers, is our track tablets. So you can use the track tablet. This is a very cost-effective solution for locating and shipping and receiving. And we actually sell these. The market value of these, this has the longest RFID read range of any mobile device on the market, as I mentioned earlier, and the market value of these is about $4,000 to $5,000. But we sell them at factory direct pricing for $14.95 to give our customers very easy and affordable access to our system, and to make the system very easily scalable. So you have a number of different options in terms of the hardware that you use. If you did want to print your own RFID tags, Jeremy and Green offers great tag printing services, and they can sell you tags printed, and as Jeremy said, and even printed, encoded, and even deployed in our software. But if you wanted to print your own, we can also provide you with RFID labeled printers and full RFID printer setups that will allow you to print your own tags on demand. Any other questions for either of us? Great. Well, if not, again, as Jeremy said, feel free to reach out to either of us. Jeremy, do you have any closing comments?
No, that's it. Just want to thank everyone very much for joining. Really appreciate it, and hope to hear from you if you have any questions or comments. Thanks a lot.